Now, a lot of you anime fans out there have watched or at least heard of the light novel series Classroom of the Elite. And yeah, you heard me right. The anime is actually a representation of the light novel series by Shogo Kinugasa. And it has a manga adaptation as well as 3 anime seasons out now produced by Studio Lerche, which I recommend watching heavily if you haven't already done so. Now, let me preface this by saying the anime is actually not bad, but the truth is, it's almost nothing compared to the masterful piece of media that is the original light novel series. That's right, with the most popular adaptation being the anime, often stereotyped as an anime for edgelords and often the poster for brain rot anime, there is a better way to tell this story. And all it requires is a bit of patience to get through the several volumes that are all incredibly well written accounts of the event at ANHS. Now you might be thinking, what are the actual benefits of picking up the light novel when you have a visual retelling of the story that is just as entertaining? Well, let me correct you on a few things. This adaptation of the story is actually not a full retelling of the light novels. That's right, it leaves out quite a few things that you may or may not find important, but it adds so much to the writing and depth of the show and its many characters. It also happens to weirdly change some of the scenes that are originally different within the light novel, and when I first watched the show I thought it was a decent watch, but when I picked up the light novels I knew it was far better than the show I'd watched, thanks to the extra content and overarching retelling of a story that mainly comes from the view of the infamous protagonist Ainokoji Kiyotaka. Yeah, the insight into this protagonist and his motivations is far better than the anime adaptation, thanks to the constant telling of thoughts that Ainokoji dictates throughout the books. We get a clear insight into his views, and without this we get the anime version of him, which is basically a silent character who's pretty boring and edgy. His ideas and his emotions present within the novels would make an anime viewer utterly surprised when comparing it to the soulless protagonist we're used to. We actually get to see his thoughts, which are sometimes a little unreliable and hide the true truths that are revealed in the end of the volume. But regardless, we get to see his interactions with all the other characters that are such intricate developments of character that you wouldn't really get in the anime version of the show. And this isn't only limited to the protagonist. Usually each volume begins with a monologue from a relevant character of that specific volume, and this happens throughout as we continue to deepen our understanding of the strategies within the special exam and the motivations behind every move and character actions. Now, aside from these differences, the light novel series is actually more progressed than the anime right now, so much that we're almost at the end of the second year of Ainokoji's journey in ANHS, whereas the anime version is only at the end of year 1. And not only is the extra content an incentive to pick up this series, but the exciting story only gets better, even within the first volume of the second year. And when I read this, I'll tell you now, I was so crazily hooked on the story and what would happen next. Exciting characters that were introduced, even including, spoilers ahead, but other White Room students, and a special challenge to take down the protagonist himself. It just adds an insane new dynamic to the story that sets it aside from the others. And it truly is peak, and realistically it only gets better. Another standout volume being Year 2 Volume 5, where a certain special exam tears the dynamics of Horokiza's class and creates indefinite grudges and rivalries within the class. By the way, Ainokoji doesn't just sit and watch, but rather takes an active role in this insane twist of events. Now, not only are there key differences between the retelling of the story and its many adaptations, which I won't go into much detail as you guys should check out the work for yourselves without getting spoilers, but just remember that this series is peak fiction, and what makes Classroom of the Elite so good as a novel isn't just its plot, but the depth of writing and intricacies that could be missed in the anime. So go ahead, give it a try, let me know in the comments what you think of this series as a whole, and any light novel readers watching this, what theories do you have for the upcoming volumes of the story? Leave them in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I've got more coming soon, so stay tuned.